Okay, motionTween. We're going to create a simple motion tween for the text animation. We may use that for the animated banner or any type of intro movie. So let's create the one new ActionScript 3.0 file. Just the default setting, uh, 550 by 400 pixel, 24 frames per second. So first, let me write simple word. I'm gonna use some very basic typeface, something heavy a little bit. Um, sans serif. So my favorite Arial black. Let me type water. Okay, the type size maybe around 24 point. Okay. So the the concept is we're going to animate these five letters WATR um, separately. So we're going to assign one letter per layer, meaning this group of letters, one word, supposed to be broken into five different letters by using break apart, Command B on your keyboard, Command B. Okay, so there are five letters now, it's all separate. And then, as I mentioned before, each layer will have only one letter. So what we can do is make sure your five letters are selected under the modify menu, timeline, distribute to layers, modify, timeline, distribute to layers. Click. So now we can see that there are five layers and each layer has only one letter, making one word, water. And then the very original layer 1 now is empty, so we can now delete it, so we don't need it. So WATR. Okay, so now we can start the motion tween from here, but normally what I do is I just do a break apart one more time because this is area black. So most the operating systems like a Macintosh or the PC or any web browsers, Arial Black is fortunately a kind of part of a system font. So your end user or viewer will see the letter we're using. But if you're using something fancy or kind of very specific font we downloaded or they purchased, and then if your end user doesn't have their font on their computer or their device, what's going to happen is that font will be replaced by your end user's system font, like a default font. So it could be replaced by Courier or Helvetica or Times New Roman. It depends how your end user set up the computer. So in this way, once we break apart again, now this is a graphic. Looks like a letter. So this is kind of a safer way. So your end user can see what you have already. So this is what we have. So since this is a motion tween, we're going to repeat the same steps, same routines. Under this, make sure you select the first keyframe of each letter, each layer. Insert motion tween. Next letter, insert motion tween. Next letter, insert motion tween. Repeat the same steps. Insert motion tween. Okay. So now we have a departure of each letter, but we don't have a destination yet. So let me select all these layers, less frames, and then insert timeline keyframe. So now we need to have this kind of a five little dots, meaning now I have a destination. It's a kind of turning point. But what I know is the this um, 24 frames of animation for this type of text effect is kind of too long. So I'm going to reduce the time span from 24 to 10 so we can make it happen much quicker and faster. So select all the layers, and then when you move your mouse cursor over the last keyframe, now you see that mouse cursor changes, and hold down the mouse button and drag it down to 10. So we can do this 5 layers at a time. Okay, now it's time to make some changes. The first, letter W. The plan is we're going to start this animation from nothing. We may have some background images later. So from nothing. So this letter W will be fading in, and also at the same time will be spinning, and then it will uh, reduce the size. So select the letter W first on frame number 1. Open the transform panel and make sure you check the link icon, this button, so that we can keep the same proportion. I'm going to make it the maybe 700% larger and 90%, no, 90 degree of angle. And then under your properties panel, make sure you're still selecting the letter W. There's a color effect panel, color effect. Change the style from none to alpha, and then set the alpha value down to 0 so we can have we can start from nothing. And at the end, on frame number 10, select the letter W again. We're going to move the alpha value up to 100%, meaning starting from the 0% and then ending with the 100%, so it can create some kind of a fading in. As it is fading in and rotating 90-degree angle and scaling down. Don't worry about the kind of a little kind of a shift under this baseline. We're going to fix it later. So I will repeat the same step for the letter A. Frame number 1. Select the letter A. Important thing is we're going to keep the same value so we can keep the consistencies. So 700%, 90-degree angle, starting from the 0% of alpha value, and at the end, frame number 10, letter A, change the alpha value back to 100%. So W and A, they are rotating and scaling down and fading in at the same time. Same thing. Letter T, select, open transform, 700%, 90-degree angle, alpha value from 0 to, no, sorry, I made a mistake. This may happen. Okay. Uh, from the letter T, make sure you're starting from the very first keyframe. 700 and 90-degree angle, alpha value down to 0, and at the end, back to 100. So WAT, 2 more to go. Letter E on the frame number 1, transform panel, 700, 90-degree angle, alpha value from 0% and to 100%. So 4 letters are done. Last one, letter R, on frame number 1. Transform 700, 90-degree angle, alpha value from 0 to 100. So this happens. But some funny thing is the once we applied all this the motionTween, individual letter has the kind of different baseline. So I don't know why this happens. This is not supposed to happen. So select all, but we can fix it. Select all the last keyframe your letters and open the alignment panel and just click on the this align on the same baseline. So they're all lined up now. So which is okay. But some one more thing I'm gonna try to do is all five letters are coming in at the same time. It happens at a time. Just to give some more kind of a more interesting effect. We're gonna create some type of a sequence like a domino sequence. So letter W comes in first, and then A after, T later, E right next to it, and R. So they're kind of coming in in the different timeline. So A, select the T layer and select the entire segment and drag it. So 5 more frames, and E and R. So they're coming in the different timeline. WATER. Problem is, once it is done, uh, the only letter I see is the letter R, the very last letter. So we need to keep it after the second keyframe of each layer. So the easiest way is uh, just to remind that when we inserted the keyframe, what happened was insert keyframe option. It will copy and paste of your current, the last keyframes status, like a letter, graphics, or any images. So I'm going to select all bottom 4 layers, last frames, just to highlight it, and then insert keyframe or F6. So this blue segment says the after letter W comes in on frame number 10, and then from 11 till frame number 30, it keeps the position. WATR, WATR, water. Okay. So basically it is done. I just need to, I'm going to add the just one more layer on the bottom as a background. Uh, Let me import a image, water.jpg on 0.0. So once I hit the return, okay, so that's it. So if you have the more numbers of letters, it will require more time and more labors. Okay.